pleased to have Marcelo with us. He has been a constant force in this franchise for 2 decades now. Please give Marcelo a big round of applause.
Thank you guys, thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome to TFNation 2025. How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm feeling great, feeling great. Like, it's really happy to be back to a Transformers convention after so many years, and then especially a convention I have never been before. So like feeling this atmosphere is amazing. It's been amazing so far. Like, thank you guys, thank you very much. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much.
So we have so much to cover in so little time. As I say, you've been part of this franchise now for 20 years more. And you have done everything from box art to toy design to comic books. We'll get to that, but before we do, who is Marcelo? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and where your love of art started.
My love of art started when I was 3 years old kid. I used to watch Popeye when I was a kid, so that's the thing that I used to draw when I was a kid. My mom says that I like to draw Popeye, and when I used to go to the beach, I used to grab a popsicle stick and then draw in the sand. So that's the thing that I used to draw. And then I started getting into the comics, then I started copying comics. What do you have in Brazil at that time? We have a thing called, we have Snoopy, so I try to copy all those things. And cartoons, like I love to watch all kinds of cartoons, so every time that I think that I would like to copy. Masters of the Universe was really big at that time, and then I tried to draw that thing. Transformers came later on, but everything art related, and then my parents started feeding me with paper. They figured out, okay, he likes to draw, let's give him sketchbooks, paper, pencils, and then have fun.
So what was it like being a Transformers fan in Brazil? Because obviously we have the US and the UK is pretty well documented. What was it like in Brazil?
It was quite challenging because we never had all the toys that you guys had. Like we in Brazil, as far as I remember, just got the mini-bots. You guys have a lot of, they worth a lot nowadays, right? So just have the mini-bots, we have GoBots that we pretend they were Transformers. Yeah. Especially there's a truck that it's red and then blue legs, so that's our Optimus Prime at that time. But we did have the cartoon, we did have comics until issue 24. Yeah, we never had the full run.
That's the Marvel US?
Yeah, Marvel US. Marvel UK we never heard about. Sorry guys, it's not like, I wish we had, because there's great stories. We had the cartoon, we had the stickers, album stickers, so that's another thing that I used to copy when I was a kid, because I watched the cartoon. If you guys don't know, like 20 years ago we never had YouTube, we never had the VHS, so to watch a cartoon and to see how those drawings, we had like to make magic. Sometimes I put paper over the screen, try to copy, and then or when I grab those stickers, I try to copy those things, or comic books. All my comic books back in the days were all destroyed because I draw over them. Yeah, I tried to copy with carbon, you know the carbon papers? Yeah. So yeah, my mom was crazy. Hey, let's try another comics. Yeah, mom, I tried to learn how to draw.
And so what you mentioned obviously about copying comics and things like that. What sort of comics were you copying? What was inspiring you at that time?
Mostly superhero comics. Yeah, and then we had Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. So we started getting older. I figured out, okay, we have artists that draw those things. So my reference were John Byrne, that I like it a lot. And then Spider-Man, Joe Romita. And then I started to copy those guys back in the days. Like Transformers, I like Don Perlin. The first one on Transformers, tried to copy his artwork as well. So, and then that's mostly the comics that, because everything happened at the same time. So we have those comics, we have Transformers, we have G.I. Joe. So back in Brazil at that time when I started drawing, those are the things. They're getting older, they're getting to, I figure out like image guys, so Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, all those guys that I use as reference to draw. Not to draw Transformers directly, but like to get into the comics. Like I wanted to be before I was a Transformers artist, I wanted to be a comic book artist. That's the thing.
And if there was one comic book character that you would desperately love to get your hands on?
I really like the Thing from the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
I think I like him a lot because I was going through my old sketchbooks. He's almost a sketchbooks when I was a kid. So I think probably that's the guy that I like a lot. So yeah, Fantastic Four, I enjoyed. What else? I really like Masters of the Universe. I had that's the toys that I liked a lot. That I had the Castle Grayskull. Transformers, I wish I had the Optimus Prime. I never had the first time that I saw Optimus Prime when I was in my 20s. So it's like the G1 Optimus Prime.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so I never had the chance to see it. So for some reason, all the other collections they came, like G.I. Joe, they brought to Brazil easily than Transformers.
So were you still living in Brazil in the early 2000s then?
Yeah, when I breaking through Hasbro, I was living in Brazil. I was an illustrator in Brazil and art director. I did a website for kids, and then I used to draw and animate, do some animations for these drawings.
So yeah, I don't know if like we've got some young people in here. The internet of the early 2000s definitely not the same internet that we have.
Not at all, but that's what helped me to get work through Hasbro, because back in the day, they have the 2005 forums, and then that's when I start, everything started 2001, when I first met Brazilians fans. It's me? No?
Oh, I think we need a quick microphone change.
It's my fault. Yeah, so, yeah. So 2001, I went to my first Brazilian convention, and then I met a lot of Brazilians. At that time, I didn't know that there exists convention. So I met those guys in a comic book store, and they say, "Hey, Marcelo, everyone likes Transformers. Do you like your drawings? Do you wanna? There's a place where you can publish your drawings online. It's Transformers 2005, TransFandom at that time, and then Dreamwave just released these new Transformers comics. And then Rhino, the DVD company, just released Transformers Generation 1, like first season, second season, third season. So that's why I also in Brazil, we didn't have the cartoon in order as well. So it was all over the place. So I never could watch the order until early 2000. And that's what happened. I went to this convention, I discovered Transformers again, okay, I like those things. I wanted to get into Transformers again. And then I discovered Dreamwave, and then I watched the whole first season, and I say, okay, I need to do an art. Based on one character that doesn't look cool on the cartoon, but I'm gonna try to make this energy for Dreamwave and try to put in the new illustration. So that's when I did the Bumblebee transformation. It's a sequence that is transformed, that's one thing that I like to the Japanese, the transformation, exaggeration sequence, they usually do. And one of those Transformers fans, he said to me, Marcelo, there's a website, international, there's a fan art section. So put your drawings there and get feedback for them. Remember, at that time, early 2000s, the way that you can show your work was through portfolio, physical portfolio, you need to go knock on the door, each one. Or those fan arts forums. It was not even personal blog, it was forums. So they have sections for fan art. So I put my drawing that, and then 1 week it was the most views for them all. And then 2 weeks later, I got a message from a DM with subject Hasbro work. Yeah, at that time I thought it was a prank because what I would ever see Hasbro work, like I barely speak English at that time, like I had to translate the dimensions part-time to figure out, okay, the guy that asked me work for them.
And if I'm right, this was your very first piece?
Yeah, this is actually a test that I did for Hasbro. At that time, like, the thing they talk about, they say, Marcelo Dreamwave is not delivering all the artwork that we need for. We saw they could match this style, would like to make a test for us. I say, yeah, let's do it.
Ah, right, okay, so Dreamwave was commissioned to do all of the packaging work for Armada.
Yeah, yeah.
This would be, Swindle wasn't actually on the box, he came in with the card that was packaged with Starscream.
Yeah, because they started promoting Armada in different ways, so they wanted to do a card sets. So they didn't have all the artwork for all the minicons. They have some of them, but they're missing a lot. So they say, Marcelo, we're behind schedule in a lot of them. So I did this test in 1 week, then like they approved it. They say, Marcelo, this is really good, that's what we wanted. And then a week later I have a 2 or 3 to do. They say, yeah, let's do it. I say, well, if you can say anything every time that I want, you can say as much work as you can. Like I like to work on everything, and like it was. And at some point, I keep bugging them. I say, can you send more work? Can you send more work? I say, hey Marcelo, I just do not send more work because I know you work full time. I say, but I don't want to work full time. I want to work with Transformers. So I want to leave my job to work with this thing.
So how did it feel then, going from posting fan art online to, I suppose, like being given access to behind the scenes? You know, this is obviously coming with the toys, so you most likely got to see these characters before they were publicly available.
It's really surreal. Like by the time that I've worked with them, like they usually send me pictures. Everyone asks me, do you receive the prototypes? No, I never give a hand to any prototypes, so I just got pictures for the what's they called, the gray model. That's
the grayscale.
The grayscale model. So that's how they usually take pictures and they send over. And that is crazy because I remember that time I was working on this one. They say, Marcelo, we have a very secret project that I want to share with you. We need you to do it's going to be the new Optimus Prime. It was a masterpiece. So they say, Marcelo, please do not share this with anyone else. I had to sign like several NDAs. And they said, oh really? Like, imagine that time that the images were not that big, but they sent a low resolution, really small picture of Optimus and his trailer. They say, Marcelo, we need an illustration for the intern part of the trailer that went to inside the box of the US version. They have like, it was, if the trailer was open. So they said, Marcelo, you don't need to draw anything from this, because actually at that time Optimus didn't come with the trailer.
Yeah, the first masterpiece did.
The first masterpiece didn't come with the trailer, so I said, hey Marcelo, try to search images from the G1 version and try to replicate the internal part of the trailer, but that's the Optimus but they sent a really small picture and all blurry, a lot of watermarks, because it was top secrets. So these are the kind of things that are cool, those behind the scenes, like it's not as glamorous as you guys think it is, like sometimes, especially the guy that hired me at the time was Aaron Archer. You guys might know him as the director from Transformers. So he mentioned, like, I didn't know who this guy was. I didn't know he was a kid. I didn't know how old he was. I didn't even know he was professional. I just sent a message to a guy on nowhere saying, do you want to work for us? I didn't know if we were going to reply, but sending the work back, that's the thing. So back in the day it was...
Love the idea that, you know, you sign all of these NDAs, they trust you, but they don't trust you, really.
Yeah.
They're sending...
Not really, yeah. When they send like a lot of artwork with watermarks, they say, oh yeah, the problem.
So that then leads us on to the last 20 years of some of the comic book work that you've done as well. So how did the job with Hasbro mutate into working for Dreamwave?
At that time, everything has happened all at the same time. Like, it was really interesting. In a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, I was working with Hasbro, Dreamwave, and another publisher. It was a book. It's called Genesis book by Image.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing work for them, for Hasbro, and for Dreamwave. So Hasbro started sending my names to all his partners. Say, hey, if you need Transformers art, ask Marcelo because he has the style that you need for this trilogy. So for Transformers Armada, at least. And then I remember that I did one art for Transformers Collection. I did. Oh, meanwhile, when they asked me to start doing stuff for the packaging, Archer asked me, "Do you want to do concepts for toys?" I said, "Yes, sure," because I'm an industrial designer. I have college and industrial design. Like I did a action figure as my project, so I can do that. I'd love to do that for sure.
It feels like you went from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, like it was a crazy year for me. 2002 was because 1 year before I rediscovered Transformers. I rediscovered my passion for Transformers through the comics and rewatched the cartoon. And then all on Sunday, I was doing official work that I was like you guys, I was a fan. I was in these kind of chairs, watching voice actors talking in Brazil, the Brazilian voice actors, these kind of small conventions. We didn't have any artists at that time, so just the voice actors, like speaking how the Optimus Prime is Optimus Prime at that time. And then I was there asking for signatures, and then it was exactly the same thing. I say, I never planned that, but I work hard to make things as professional as I could.
Yeah. When we're talking about your comic book work, you obviously did some stuff for Dreamwave. You've done some stuff for IDW. You don't seem to do a lot of interiors nowadays. Is that a personal thing? Is it a time consideration?
It was a little bit. Everything was kind of timing. By the time that I started doing work with comics, I first did for BotCon, for OTFCC. That's when I first met Simon Furman. That's when he gave my name to Dreamwave as well. So they say, because I did a couple pages for him, he really liked it, and that's why I think I started work with. I did interiors for Energy on 30.
So did you know who Simon Furman was, bearing in mind that, this guy comes up and...
I knew because I got again, in Brazil we never had these things published, so the way that I could get the comics, they imported the comics, some bookshops. And then I went to one of them, like back early 90s, and I could find their run for 76 until 80. Then I discovered, Simon Furman, and the Wildman, all those guys, they're really cool, the way they draw. Because I stopped with Don Perlin, and then I don't know, 15 years without following, and then I discovered those guys, and then all of a sudden I was drawing for one of those guys. Simon Furman asked me to, hey Marcelo, I like your pages, and then I received this one, and then at the same time Hasbro started sending me more package artwork. And then Archer started sending me concepts for toys. And then I said, okay, I need to balance. And then I had a really traumatic experience with Dreamwave.
Really?
Yeah, for some
reason. Everything went so smoothly.
Yeah, then I never got paid for almost 2 months of work. And then I say, oh, maybe I should keep work with Hasbro because I think it's more safe than work with publishers. And then, but it was just one case. It was not for everyone. IDW treated me really well, but again, at IDW, Hasbro sent me a whole line to draw at that time. They said, hey, Marcelo, I wanted you to do Transformers Universe from 2008. I don't know if you guys remember that line. So they asked me to develop the style and to match to the whole figure. And then I tried to combine those at the same time, but like I said, I won't be able to make it because I'm afraid to develop a better work for the pack and better work for comics. Then I had to choose sometimes. Sometimes I say, okay, maybe I can do one issue, so that's when I did Sunwave. That's my first issue. But I had to drop Megatron Warriors. I was offered Megatron Warriors that I had to drop it. I said, maybe I can do the covers. Honestly, I think I was afraid at that time. I think I was not prepared to develop the things because if I not do my full work, I think as a fan, I want to develop what fans like, not what the artists like. When I work with these big robots, I want to show like, okay, what those fans we wanted to see on those guys. So that's what I want to try to put on my artwork. Like, I watch a lot of Japanese reference, a lot of, okay, let's grab things from cartoon, things they like, the fans enjoy, so that's what I try to bring it to.
Okay. So, you do comic books, but we've mentioned obviously there about toy design. I thought we would save Transformers toy design for just down the road, because let's start with something that you've worked on. This was the HasLab Sentinel. I don't know if we've got any X-Men fans in the room. So this was their HasLab from, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. So what kind of spec are you given when you're asked to design a toy? Is it, hey, we want to do a Sentinel, Marcelo, go, or this is what we've got planned?
So each toy is a case. Like for example, Transformers toys, we have a partnership. Hasbro has a partnership with Takara. So basically, Hasbro does the concepts and Takara does the magic. And then what happened with Marvel was kind of different. Like when I was working through Hasbro, I used to visit Hasbro every time that I went to US. I used to visit Hasbro later on, and they ended up giving my name to all the other teams. So I ended up being the robot guy for a while. Everything was robotic or mechanical. I was the guy, and then I was bugging Marvel to see, hey guys, can you send me any kind of work? Like I want to do some stuff for you. They say, yeah, let's try something. And
this is the Marvel team at
Marvel team, yeah, because then I knew the Marvel team. I started sending the works, and then like I did a bunch of concepts that never come out, never see the light of day. I did a lot of drafts, a lot of sketches, a lot of concepts that it just. A lot of images, and then like, hey Marcelo, I'm not gonna produce this toy. I did Marvel Transformers crossovers, so I was, this was Wolverine, you know those Transformers?
So mid-2000s, there was Wolverine, Punisher, Spider-Man.
So that's why my first time working with Marvel, the Transformers at the same time, so that's why they figured out, okay, Marcelo can help us out with that. And then came the Sentinel, like when they have this big project. I think it was the first HasLab maybe, right? I think so.
Once it was
one of the
Unicron was the first.
Yeah,
but this might be the first Marvel.
Marvel. I honestly, this is the 4th or 5th version that I did for Sentinel, because they asked me to do one version all by myself. They asked me to do a version based on the old toys. They asked me to do a version based on the old Sentinels from back in the 80s. And I think they aligned with Marvel at that time. I think at the time they were launching House of X. They did have some concepts for the Sentinel. So that's when they sent me that image for Sentinel. They say, hey Marcelo, can you mix this image? Was the original. They even asked me to do the original beauty figure from Toy Biz. They say, let's do a new version for that one. But I think Marvel wants to do something new. They said, let's try to mix something. That's why you see, like, if you see the belly part, I try to do something similar with the Toy Biz when you see all the wires coming through. So that's when the geek part come out. I say, okay, what thing that I wanted to see in the toys that I wanted to put, like, or see in the fans would enjoy seeing. So that's when and also try to do some things that remind the Transformers. So yeah, I try to give some glimpses here and there.
So when you're designing toys.
Oh yeah. So you asked me, when designing toys, I usually get a briefing for the company. They say, Marcelo, I want a toy like this, this, and this. Can you create some images for us? And then I got some notes. And then I say, you like this one? Can you do another version? Like this version? And then now can you do these views? When you come to this stage is when they become products.
Okay. And when you're designing, say, a HasLab Sentinel, is your mindset different to if you're designing a $24 figure that is going to be on the shelf? Or is what's going to be in the box and what the figure is, the detail on the figure, does that impact your design work at all?
When I got the first briefing from the designer, then impacted. But for me, it's the same kind of level effort that I put on both. Like sometimes they ask me, Marcelo, can you remove those details because it's going to be cheaper than like we cannot afford this 7-8 points articulation. It's going to have 2. It doesn't transform. I don't have money to transform this. So even like I remember that I had to design a hook for them, and that I make him screaming. And they say, Marcelo, we don't have money to paint his teeth, so did a version of his mouth closed. Okay, let's have money.
It's so fascinating though, just those little details.
Yeah, like sometimes you think, as I say, it's glamorous, but sometimes no. Sometimes like, okay, we don't have money to paint the teeth, and then.
It's going to be my new favorite quote. We don't have the money to paint the teeth.
I mean, that's not. We don't have a budget.
No, we don't
have a budget for that. Like. Yeah. This kind of toy, it doesn't have budget for that.
They're not looking down the back of the sofa for change to fund these projects. So then we come on to the design work for Transformers. Now I picked this just because you sent me these over and I was able to pillage your Instagram to get some concepts here. First of all, what is the fundamental, is there a fundamental difference between designing an action figure, a 6-inch action figure, and a transformer?
Yes, there are a lot of different things.
And so what considerations do you have to make?
Action figures usually it's based on something that already exists. So mostly Marvel, the cards is already there. You're coming from the comics, so they literally send you pictures from the comics. Hey Marcelo, just do the turns for this. Easy. Like I had to do Nimrod, I had to do a couple more cards. They send me a lot of references. They say, Marcelo, you can give your touch, but usually these are base.
Hopefully they're not still small little.
No, that time was.
They trust you a bit.
Decent reference, not those really tiny 7-2 pieces reference. Crazy. And then, like for example, these ones. These are that I didn't know at the time. By the time the designer asked me to work on those, he just said, "Oh, we need a partner, and this partner is going to transform." So, and he's going to break apart and transform. So, at that time, they still try to figure out with Takara how it's going to be the gimmick, how to transform that. So that's why you can see I break the figure, like separate the piece, and then like his leg's going to be Arce's leg. So this is when the designers say, Marcelo, step back a little bit. It's going to be one piece that you just connect from the top, and then let's work again.
Yeah.
At that time, I thought it was going to be like something that you can pull apart and then make an armor.
Yeah, because I suppose if we look at it in the wolf form over here, the legs are solid, but if we look at the legs here on RC, clearly they've been split apart. Things like that. And then I think on the next slide here, you've got a clearer development.
That's when that's what I said. The first time I go crazy, that's why they like to see us. They like to see we go crazy, go wider, because they want to see the ideas pop up. And they say, okay, Marcelo, you got feedback from Takara, they need to do this way. Things should be one part, and this part is going to break apart on the top. When you connect, it transforms automatically. So that's why we come up with that kind of idea for. It's a teamwork. That's the thing. I did not give this idea. Sometimes I got notes from the designer and say, Marcelo, let's do this way. So he did the whole piece on the top. He just designed the wolf to do that.
So when you're first designing the toy, are you giving any consideration to the logistics of how the toy itself transforms?
I suggest those, or I try to. On this case, I just try to match the wolf parts on my concept that they can figure out how to transform. Because I know, like, Takara needs to figure out how to transform. Because Takara does all the costs, all the codes, how much will make. Because this one, again, this one, the price point for this one was cheaper.
Yes.
So, like, they could not spend a lot of money on transformation. That's why they need to make just the whole piece transformed once, like not like several parts pulling apart. All those things are more complicated.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes I suggest transformation, sometimes they follow, sometimes they don't. Like they already had in mind that thing when you connect, the belly will pop up and shows the face. They said it's going to be that way. So that probably they had a prototype of that way. And just told me, Marcelo, figure out it's going to be this way, so just try to do something.
Yeah. So this RC obviously ended up being a basic figure.
Yeah.
This was your original concept. Mm-hmm. This is how the figure turned out. In terms of the concept itself, and as you say, regarding the price point, do you have any say over the colours? Because obviously, I don't know if people can see, but there's a slight difference.
Yeah. What difference? That's again the thing, the budget stuff. By the time we develop, they don't tell us the budget stuff. They just say, okay, let's go crazy and see how it goes. And then I think even the time they didn't have, if you see like RC has more white parts on the bottle, so that's why I did a lot of purple on the top. Because probably the movie, they didn't have the right version of the movie yet.
Right.
So like work with the movies is really tricky because Hasbro needs at least 1 year in advance, and then the movies they usually do, okay, let's change in the editing room, let's change the colors, and then how to say, what can I do right now? Like everything goes in production, how can I change colors?
Yeah.
So I think at that time, because I remember all the concepts, RC has more white on his body than red, and again, this is for kids, so they need to figure out, okay, what is appeal for the kids? So that's one thing that people sometimes get, oh, Hasbro's not doing what I want. That's not how it works. Like Hasbro's trying to, he has some lines for each kind of public, so that line is for a more younger version.
Yeah.
And then like, but they try to incorporate, okay, let's put some new beasts and see how it goes. If the direction is good, maybe we can do something for more collectibles.
Yeah. And so is it the case that you would get to like this stage, and then at that point the Takara team are like, thanks Marcelo, appreciate it, and then a year later you walk into a shop and see that, and
yeah, basically.
That's it,
yeah. Yeah, again, it's not so glamorous, that is thing, but that's how the process works. Like, I don't have control after that. I just have work for hire guy. I'm not like I can demand, oh, I created this guy. Again, this is a teamwork.
Yeah.
So I got feedback from Japan, I got feedback from Takara. Sometimes Takara needs to adjust for their market. So like, I'll say, you need to change the details for the chest because we're more mechanical. I try to do more a beast style, but sometimes the designer wants to do something different. Like they have this freedom to do that.
Yeah. This is another transformer that you worked on?
Yeah. This is a really fun one because I saw a lot of reactions at the time it was released. Again, these are one of the concepts that sometimes, there's a lot of behind the scenes that are crazy. For example, Power of the Primes. Do you know the icons from Power of the Primes? I designed all the icons from Power of the Primes. Do you know how I designed that thing? They say, Marcelo, we have a meeting tomorrow. I need 12 designs for those icons. I just gonna sell the idea of the Power of the Primes. Okay.
Hopefully they didn't send you it through a message on TFW 2005.
No, and then when I say, oh, the guys are using those logos everywhere. That's just some of them. I say, wow, can I at least say that I designed it? And they say, Marcelo, not for now. I say, okay, that's fine. I know how it works. Then again, this was one of those ideas like the guys say, Marcelo. Sometimes they hire a lot of different artists that at the time they hire me, say, we're gonna do a homage to G1. So pretend that Bookhead has a transformation as a G1 toy. So that's why it's really square, it's really simple. It was supposed to be like an old style G1. I had no idea they wanted to do that as generation and with a lot of articulation in mind. For me, it was supposed to be like really strictly G1 transformation, really simple.
And that was certainly what they were doing at the time when this figure came out. It was very much taking alternative non-G1 characters and G1ifying them.
Yeah, they try to explore more, for some reason they try to explore more Prime characters. I think maybe because the new characters that were introduced, they were not animated.
Yeah.
So they try to see, okay, how those things can fit on G1 and at some point. And then yeah, this one was one of the designers, the feedback that I have at the time, they wanted to do a military truck because I had done different. I have done as the cartoon, I have done a truck like cartoon, they mentioned, oh, let's do a military one. And then that's one I had to rework and do this.
And then of course you famously put, you put the bowl mace on his hand, which I don't think the toy actually came with.
The toy, I don't know, the toy, I don't have this.
Did it? Oh, it did, sorry, mine was okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of touch that I say that I try, sometimes I don't know if they're going to do or not, because they never ask it, then I say, okay, let's put something, let's throw something that I see if it works, if not. I remember one of the designs that I did for Marvel crossovers was a Captain America shield. One of my concepts, I say, if you press the button, they should split up. I said, they're never going to do that, but they did. And I was like, okay. Okay, so I figured out, okay, if I try to throw ideas, they might work, or they might not.
Yeah.
Again, it's all depends on the budget. But they never let me know yet first.
So, really, you're given sort of the freedom to let your imagination roll, and then they really back in.
Yeah, I think that's how, because they like us, they want us to have freedom to create things, that come up with things fresh. That's why sometimes they don't come up with a lot of strict ideas. Sometimes they say, oh, just go crazy. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then they start, okay, let's fix this, fix that. But usually the first couple ideas, they give us more freedom. Yeah.
And this is one of your latest ones that we just got to see at SDCC.
Yeah, this actually they come like last year, first time. They have the junctions. It's a new play pattern that they tried to create at that time. They had, again, they came sometimes as suggesting, sometimes they already had ideas. So they wanted this idea that these toys, they will break apart and you can switch parts. So you can grab a motorcycle part and put in front of the car and do like those Mad Max crazy look. So that's when I start, okay, let's think about, like, they asked me they need like 3 sizes different. They want a bike, a car, and a truck. But they have, so that's why they mentioned to them, Marcelo, we need those 3 different sizes. And they have the play pattern in mind already, so like break apart, so the parts can switch by the characters.
Yeah.
And then this one, I went crazy, by the way, okay, what if I can mix the Junkins from the '86 movie with Mad Max, and then I bought a art book from Mad Max, and I tried to see as many references, hey, let's put spikes everywhere, let's put some parts breaking, let's put some chains. There's the truck that became a wreck guard. I put some chains across his one of his parts. I said, again, they're not going to use that, but then they use the mold. So like I try to throw as many crazy ideas, and then that's when the designers. That's when Takara does the magic. Sometimes, really, the drawings I never expected them to make those. Like that shield, I did that kind of design. I said, they might use it or not. I'm not saying. I just threw the drawing that if Takara likes, or Hasbro, they say, let's do this. So this was strictly a reference from '86.
And this, I think, is coming out next year, 2026. Yeah.
And then oh.
And then we have to talk a little bit about this, because you talked about Masters of the Universe. I can't imagine how thrilled you must have been when you got this news.
You know how the circle closes? Like your dream, when it was your kids, everything come together, and then you say, like, again, that's when you do good relationships help in your life, when you are a professional and you deliver things on time and with quality. Then what happens? One guy that was supposed to work at Hasbro was working at Mattel, and then we come up with this project. Say, I need Marcelo because I saw his artwork before. Even the comics. I did not work in many comics, but the one that I work, I try to put my best.
Yeah.
Like Metroplex, that one that I try to put my heart on that. Like I try to do my very best in that one. So that's why sometimes I don't feel that I can do good, I don't accept the job because it's not going to look good. So,
Yeah.
and this one was one of those jobs that say, oh my gosh, I need to prepare myself because it's a lot of responsibility to work on this thing. So, man, like two big brains come together for the first time.
Yeah.
And then, like in a way that no one was expecting. The things they were expecting was, okay, let's do, I don't know, one of the Master of the Universe transform into something. But no, not this way. And
well, I mean, we've not seen Optimus Prime yet.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just saying, maybe one company could do something.
Hopefully, if this line has enough support, they will do more stuff. So that's how things work. They tested out the waters.
I just have one question for you when it comes to this line. As a fan of Transformers and of Masters of the Universe, when they told you that Bumblebee was going to be Man-at-Arms, did you not go, Brawn's right there?
I have the same reaction.
Yeah.
I have the same reaction. Like, but again, the guys need to sell this line.
Yeah, Bumblebee's popular, man.
Bumblebee's popular, so Man-at-Arms is also popular. If you do a Brawl would be the right choice, right? Brawl, yeah. So like that's what I thought also. They even have the same kind of helmet.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
But I understand the choice that they say, oh, maybe you need to make Bumblebee's like the Spider-Man for Transformers.
Yeah, yeah.
So like every kid that I stop by my table, they carry a Bumblebee. So like, yeah, that's the logical choice, I would say, for them.
It is.
But yeah, that's a really fun story. They like how they like to combine the lore of Transformers with the lore of Master of the Universe. Again, it's kind of crazy stuff that happened in both universes. They try to put together. The story is really fun.
I can't wait to see what.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, I enjoyed working on this.
Woo! Yeah.
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 So just out of curiosity, and I appreciate NDAs, all of that stuff, but how long have you been involved in this before the announcement?
Before announcement, last November.
Last
November.
Okay.
So I have to work really fast on those. Like they send me. It's not a lot of pages, 6 pages only, because the mini comics. 6 pages plus cover. So like, but for me, it took an eternity to work on those things because I was so afraid to mess it up.
Yeah.
So and then I tried to do something to remind the old style comic books from mini comics. I try to adjust my style, use more shadows, more. Even my 90s comics, things that I always wanted to do, I try to put on that. So yeah, that's one I'm really proud of, the final product. And yeah, I even try to put some Transformers stuff as well, like things that I like to do with Transformers. I try to enhance on those.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love, which you can't see on the finished piece because of the logos, the Havoc cannon is just brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much fun.
These are really cool ideas from I think Mattel has designed those and Hasbro has approved it. But that was a really nice touch that they have. Like.
Yeah.
But again, the design is a little bit different. Try to do more Giovanni-ish. Try to push some always. That fan always speaks.
Well, I appreciate we have been talking for a really, really long time, and I am sorry that we will get to some
Hope
questions.
it was not so boring.
If people have got any questions, yeah, we've got one down here at the front.
Oh, hey. Yeah.
Because believe it or not, we're nearly out of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But don't worry, Marcelo will be back tomorrow when we'll be talking more about box art. So.
Yeah.
Hi. So, with the Masters of the Universe and the Transformers cover that you guys are showing right now, I used to study art as well. So, reference pictures, would you go for like maybe getting a masterpiece Megatron posing him and doing that reference, or do you just do it from your head?
I do a lot of those. Like I had a panel that I had to do Megatron shooting that I got all my toys. I post them and take pictures to get the right angle. I do that all the time. So that's why I buy my toys. It's a reference. It's not by myself. It's just reference.
So you're telling me your Transformers are a tax write-off?
Yeah. All of them. All of them.
Got a question over here?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, is it working?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I always hate hearing the sound of my own voice. Besides
Masters of the Universe, is there a franchise or property that you would like to see Transformers crossover with?
Yeah, like honestly, I never expected that because back in the days they were rivals, like Marvel DC. There's a thing at Hasbro they usually wanted to beat Mattel back in the days. It was back and forth. So like seeing those things work together, seeing how things have changed, and then like in the way Hasbro wants to promote Transformers through all those crazy combinations, like the Ninja Turtles, they see they can the brand can survive in a different ways. So I think that's a really cool idea. Like you have a lot of Transformers elements on there. Like I don't know how popular. I know you guys want to see sometimes Transformers transforming, but like with a lot of those model kits are being really popular. And even those small the yellow packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they figure out, okay, maybe we don't need to just do Transformers transforming. So that's I think where they came up with this idea. I'm not saying it's official. I think what I think. I think that's the direction.
Yeah. And what I love about this idea, and it didn't dawn on me right away, was the fact that because Masters of the Universe is currently doing the crossover with Turtles, and they're just about to do the Thundercats crossover.
Yeah.
Now that they're doing Transformers, it's the first time in the 40 years that these brands have existed that the four of them will work on a shelf together in a unified vision, I guess, for the brand.
Yeah, and in the same scale. That's one thing that with fans love is scale. Like things you can play together things. So that's when they put Thundercats and they scale with Master Universe. Things that we usually play with that when we were kids. I remember playing with my Master Universe. They were playing with my Legos that. Because my Optimus Prime, I built it with Lego, so I used to play them together because I never had an Optimus Prime when I was a kid. And then that's how, I think this is how kids play. This is the truly example of how kids play. They put all these toys together like Toy Story. When you mix everything and then make those crazy stuff happen.
And we had the Turtles Transformers crossover a few years ago when they made the Turtle Van. So all I'm saying is, I just need my transforming Thunder Tank. That's all I want. We've got a question over here.
Hello.
Hello.
Just because of all the crossover talk, there's one crossover with Transformers that surprised me has never happened to a serious degree. Is Transformers and Tron, which I think kind of so many different things you could do with that visually. I don't know if you have any ideas of like, has any of that played your mind in like your sketchbooks of what you would like to do?
Always open for commission. If you guys want to do something, you can ask me to do the commission. You can do that. Just kidding. Yeah, you have a lot of potential with Tron. Like you have those lightings around the bodies. That's one thing the guys played. I remember before Transformers Prime, I played with that idea that we have the Energon going through. I did a few sketches through Hasbro that you could see the Energon going through. It was right before the movie, so I have those line stripes over especially inside of the arms. I like to do that, like shiny. So yeah, it has a lot of potential for Tron. You can play around with a lot of stuff. And we have some ideas right now, like glow in the dark stuff. Yeah.
I know it's always horrible to put somebody on the spot for something like this, but this is Spotlight Marcelo. Over the course of the last 20 years, what has been the one thing that Hasbro has said, we're doing this, which you just lost your mind over? Like, what's that one thing? I know I'm asking you to pick your favorite child, but what is
the last mind they say, wow, this is awesome?
Yeah, this is what I was given fingers to draw.
The Transformers 86 line.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Studio Series 86.
Yeah, because for me, the 86 movie was the ápice, was the peak of Transformers cartoon. Especially the 20 minutes of that movie. Was the best G1.
20 minutes.
Well, yeah, the best G1 animation story ever made. Like, I wish, in my mind, that's how Transformers should be. Like, and then I watched that movie so many times. I watched that tape so many times. I destroyed so many tapes. watching, rewatching there, talking, singing, and then like when the guy say, Marcelo, we wanted you to work on this package. I never have ever expected doing that thing.
Yeah.
And then I never see that thing coming, actually, like, because I never had a chance to work on those main characters this way. I used to do a lot of main characters, but mostly like Transformers Prime or Transformers Generation. They're not main. They're not G1, the true G1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I had a chance. I did not color them, but I had a chance to like have my part of history work on that. So like, especially, but the one that I really geek out was Optimus Prime.
I was about to say, we're queuing up perfectly for tomorrow
Because
in terms of the panel.
I was looking like, every time that I receive an email for anything, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah. Dinobots, Grimlock, Prowl was one of my favorites when I was a kid. Prowl getting beat, Prowl dying. I drew that thing so many times in my sketchbooks. And then I had to do the package art. Crazy, the guy dying.
Yeah.
And then like, when I had a chance to do Optimus Prime, they say, Marcelo, have closed the box, so I have a lot of space. So I say, okay, that's my chance to do our true homage to G1 package art.
Got that iconic shot of him. And as you mentioned before, you love showing the transformation.
Yeah.
You've got to do that on the box.
That's one thing that I try to show in my work. We don't see those things very often. We don't see those things anymore in the packaging. So that's when I had a chance to say, can we do this in this package? I suggested to them because they just want to. I'm not saying that the guys had a bad idea, because package art has their own idea. They say, let's just put the truck with that blast effect coming up and say, that's boring. Let's do something that sells the box. Can you do the transformation sequence? Like the old toy box art on the back, when you see like 3 or 4 or 5 different transformation sequences across, and they have an epic fight. And then I said, that's one of the phases where I think I worked on that one like in one afternoon. I was so pumped to do that thing. And I also had a chance to do all the iconic poses in one packaging.
Yeah.
That's what the best part.
Well, we will talk more about that tomorrow, but unfortunately we are out of time now. Thank you so much for all of the work you've done.
Oh, thank you
the
guys.
last 20 years.
Thanks again for having me. Like, have a blast. Like, first time in UK again. Like, I've been so very welcome here. People stop by Matere were so nice. And then again, coming back after becoming Hall of Fame artist, and then like I'm kind of celebration this with you guys, so that I'm really happy with that.
Perfect. Give Marcelo a big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Can I take a picture?
Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Photo. Oh, we're going on video. Make some noise, TF. Thank you all. We will be back very shortly in just a few minutes with our next